Hey everyone, how's it going? Oh, I'm good, thanks, you? Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Anyway, this is a video on cool opening traps for white. Basically ways to just destroy your opponent in only a few moves. We've already covered opening traps for black, so I thought it would be fun to have a little look at the ones for white. Once again, huge shout out to me subscribers. I've gone from like 0 to like 35 now in like 2 weeks or something. That's absolutely amazing, really means the world, so thank you so much. But anyway, let's just jump right into it. So we will start with the easiest one, the Fool's Mate, the mate in 3. Really quite common at the lower levels, so you start with a normal kind of E4 opening, and what a lot of newer players tend to do is something like this, F6. And you see that analysis bar at the side? It's just jumped up a little bit in eager anticipation. So from here, we just continue on as normal. Develop your horsey to, I don't know, C3, something like that. But what we're waiting for is them to push forward their pawn to G5. Now, before I move it, keep your eyes on this analysis bar. Whoop! Look at that. It's jumped right the way to the top, saying white is essentially just won. Now, I have the Lichess database open at the side. And from here, the most popular move is horsey to F3. Now look at that analysis bar, just whap, dropped right down there. And why is that? Because you just missed a checkmate. Now the second most popular move, it's not the checkmate. It's pushing the pawn up to here, to the D4. And I can see what they're trying to do, you know, get really good centre control at the start, open up the bishop. But again, the analysis board, whap, gone back down again. And the reason for that is, they missed a checkmate. So get your queen, slide along here to the H5, and boom! A nice and easy checkmate in 3. Right, so next we have the Scholar's Mate. It's not quite a mate in 3 like the last one, but it's a mate in 4, which is, you know, still pretty good. Get off my case. I'm trying my best here. So we start with the standard kind of E4, E5 opening. And from here, you're bringing your queen out early. I'm not a fan of bringing the queen out early. I'm not a fan of the Scholar's Mate. It's quite easily countered as well by someone who knows what they're doing. But at lower levels, it works fairly often. So you're getting your queen out and you can either go here to the F3 or here to the H5. I'd recommend probably the F3 just so your queen isn't hanging out quite as much. You can see the analysis bar's dropped a little bit. Engine doesn't like it because it prefers, you know, getting normal development on the go with your minor pieces. But it is what it is. So we've done this, and they'll normally do something like bring their bishop down to the C5, and we just meet them with the bishop on the C4. And what we're looking at doing is pairing up these two bad boys here onto this F7 pawn. And you can see it's quite a deadly attack, and quite a lot of the time black will miss it, and they'll end up doing something like this, bringing out the horsey. And all we do from here is move right in and grab that checkmate. Easy peasy, mate in 4. Like I said, the Scholar's Mate is very easily countered, and I'd like to show you the counter attack just because it's really handy to know. So they come down, like I say, it's the E4, E5, and they bring the queen out. Now, like I say, they have two options. They can either go here to the F6 or here to the H5. Well, if they go for the F6, super easy. You just get your horsey and you just plant it right here on the F6. And there we are. You've blocked the attack. That was easy. If instead they come down here to the H5, this is where a lot of people mess up, because they think that they should bring up the horsey and attack the queen. But all they're going to do is, boom. And you're down a pawn. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but like I said, there's a much better move. And that much better move is getting this horsey and plant it here on the C6. Defending that pawn. What they'll do, they'll bring out their bishop, and you can see the two are lining up that attack here, and we still don't get out of our horsey. We push forward the G7 pawn to the G6, push the queen out of the way, they've still got that attack, and you bring out your horsey. Horsey's defended by your queen. We can later look at, I don't know, doing a Fian Kettle, developing as normal, and you can see black's actually in a better position here. We're more developed, and we're probably going to have a bit of a better game. This is one for you Vienna players out there. If you're not too sure what the Vienna is, check out my video on it. But if not, it's e4, e5, and horsey up here to c3. This is the Vienna. Black then comes down with horsey to f6, and all we're doing is just normal development, getting our bishop out here to the c4. Now, black may take. Might seem like a bit of a strange move, but the reason that they're taken, because it looks like they're just hanging their horsey, they're just going to push forward with the pawn, protected here, you move out the way, and they get your horsey straight back. And you can see by the analysis board, black's just completely winning here. So, bringing it back, they take. What we're going to do is get our bishop and do this. And why are we doing this? Popping him in the check. Well, he takes, we take the horsey back, and if he just tries, you know, developing something like his horsey from here, this is where we get our queen, and we pop it here on the f3, putting him in check. Because if he moves back to the g8, look at that analysis bar, it's just gone wild. Because what we're going to do, get our horsey and plant it here on the g5. And you can see we have a lot of pressure here on the f7. So what black will do is defend the square with the queen. Just in case you're wondering why black doesn't just take, because we're just going to move our queen and get it straight in the checkmate. And what we're going to do is we're going to get our queen and just slide it across here to the d5. We pop him in check, he's essentially forced to block with his queen, and we grab the queen. And then takes, and we just get our queen out of the way. Congratulations, you've won yourself a queen. The fried liver attack. This one is super popular and you see it all the time. Well worth knowing. So it is a normal e4, e5, horsey up to f3, they get their horsey to f6, and you bring your bishop across here to the c4. How many times have you seen this position? Hundreds, thousands, millions, whatever. So from here, they just bring up their horsey to the f6. And the fried liver attack is getting your horsey and just plopping it right here on the g5. Horsey and the bishop both teaming up right on this f7 pawn. If black doesn't realise, they might just come across to here with their bishop. And all we're going to do from here, we have two choices. Best move really is using your bishop and forcing them to move the king, but there's quite a lot of lines and variations and things like that. At lower levels, you can just stick with this fork here. They move the queen out the way, and you grab their rook. Happy days. Alternatively, you might grab it and they might come down this way with the bishop, doing the Traxler counter-attack, which is something that you're going to have to learn. If only there was a video all about it. But yeah, essentially, that is the fried liver attack. At lower levels, a lot of players won't know about the Traxler, and you will just grab yourself a nice, free rook. Happy days. This is one that I absolutely adore, and you'll see why in a second. So we start with a normal e4, e5 opening. We just develop as normal, get a little horsey here to the f6, and they push forward to the d6. Just trying to, you know, get everything nice and solid there, open up the bishop, and we just continue on as normal, get our bishop, and just plop it right here on the c4. They grab their bishop and come down and pop the pin on here. We're not going to worry about that pin, we're just going to get a little horsey and just develop as normal, bring it up to the c3. And this is where we have to keep an eye on it, because if black decides to go like this, just to go for the fianchetto, again, really fairly common kind of opening, this is where we strike. What we do, we get our horsey, and we take this pawn. Now it looks like we're giving up our queen, and we are, and we're just going to let them take it. Watch the analysis bar. Uh-oh. Now why is this? Well, what we're going to do, we're going to get our bishop, and we're going to pop him in check. The only move that the king has from this position is to move forwards to the e7. And this is where we just get our other horsey, bring it up, and it's a checkmate. 7 moves, easy peasy. Now, this is quite a fun little one, and I did actually have a game that went just like this the other day. You don't see it very often, but it's super fun when you get it, because you're either going to get yourself a checkmate, or grab yourself a free queen. So we start with d4 opening, and they respond with d6. Bit of a cagey defensive kind of opening. Normally when they're doing an opening like this, they're going to be looking at doing the VIENNA and castling off to that side. So from here, you just develop as normal, get your horsey out to the f3, and from here, black goes to the d7. Looks a bit strange, but what they're looking at doing eventually is pushing forward with this pawn and trying to break open your centre. So all you do, just continue normal development, push your pawn forward, e4, get that nice centre control, and like I say, this is normally where black will push forward the g6, looking to get the VIENNA. Well, what we do from here, get your bishop, and just shimmy across to here to the c4. Just keeping your eye on this. Because if black does do the VIENNA, look at that analysis bar. Because all we're going to do is, boom, you pop them in check. And if they take your bishop, you're getting your horsey, and you're just planting it right here on the g5 in check. And black's just lost the game from here. And I'll show you why. Because if they push forward, well, all you're going to do is just move your queen across the f3 and put them in checkmate. King can't move anywhere. Brilliant, easy peasy. But what if black decides to move just say to here, to the f8? Well, we're not going to get our queen out and go for the check. We're going to take a little horsey, plop it right here on the e6 and get the fork in. Because when the king moves out the way, hooray, we've got ourselves a queen. And alternatively, if the king decides to move here to the e8, same principle, get your little horsey, plop it right there on the e6, and black can't move their queen out of the way. So whatever move they make next, all you're going to do is, yay! Again, free queen. Happy days! And there we have a few opening traps for white. It is absolutely amazing when you actually manage to get them. Let me know in the comments if you managed to get any of them. Feel free to check out my video on opening traps for black. Again, super handy, and there are some lethal openings in there. But yeah, you guys go off, have some fun, play some chess. I'll catch you guys later. Bye!